Oi, Waz, why is your room looking like...
Can you not?
Come on, dude.
Bro, we're in the middle of packing for a tour. Get the camera out of here.
Okay, well, day number like five-ish in Australia, and we're over here at Glenmore Skate Park, which is where we started originally, but we are cruising over to Melbourne tomorrow, so we have to come back to Waz's house, which Waz is over here. He's been trying to get this clip. I think it's like a hang-to-hang or something like that, but I don't really know. Unfortunately, I'm not able to ride right now because my back is absolutely wrecked right now. I don't know what the heck is going on with it, but let me tell you something, it freaking sucks. I'm not happy about it at all, and I'm thinking that it's like something's wrong with the disc in my lower back, and I'm really hoping that it does feel better before the Melbourne competition comes around, but if it doesn't, then we're just gonna have to see what happens. But I wanna watch Waz get this clip. Where is he? He's over here somewhere.
Oi, Waz, why is your room looking like...
Can you not?
Come on, dude.
Bro, we're in the middle of packing for a tour. Get the camera out of here.
Just 2 seconds ago, he was not talking about this. 2 seconds ago, he was saying like, hang on, just give me a minute. I can let you film it in here. And he's like, let me just clean my room real fast. Waz, you don't need to clean your room. It's perfectly fine.
Not because you're filming. Not because you're filming.
We'll get a professional opinion. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, see? This is the moment. You can't even get...
Waz is really tripping about this, guys.
I'm a plain plate, bro.
Dude, I don't look like it. Alright, so here's what we're talking about right now. The fact that I can't ride right now kind of puts a little bit of a damper on today's video. It's not exactly normal like you guys are used to, so we're talking about every single company that I've ever been sponsored by, and here comes Will. This was Will's idea. He wanted the full-on credit. He wants filming creds, screenplay creds,
Written, produced, documented,
directed,
what do they call it when you pick a cast?
stuntman, oh, costume design.
Yeah.
He wants the whole 9 yards. Look at, here he comes.
Pretty much, I'm taking the position of Raymond's manager. So if anyone has any interest to do with Raymond, just please contact me and I'll get back to you on the ASAP. Will.Scott.
Okay, anyways. A lot of you guys don't know about every single sponsor that I've had because I haven't really talked about it too much on the vlog, so that's exactly what we're talking about today. Now, this is a long list of sponsors. Now, before we actually move on, please understand that I do not ride for any of these companies anymore. This is all in the past, and you guys probably all know that by now. Sponsor number one was DXG. DXG was a crew that I rode with a long time ago. First sponsor. It wasn't really like a company per se. It was more of like I said, like a crew, and they made like t-shirts, things like that, and eventually we filmed like a full-length video, and that was right about age 15-ish. That was with John Radke, Kenny Owens, Taylor Illig, Jason Beggs, a lot of those kind of crew. Like I said, this is way back in the day, so a lot of you guys probably won't know those names, but I know that these dudes kind of do. I know Wazza does, but Will doesn't, because Will's a newbie. After I had ridden for DXG for a couple years, it's not that I ever quit, it just kind of faded out. I started riding for Scooter Zone. Now, obviously, all you guys know what Scooter Zone is. I still go there constantly. They've been around for a very long time, so that was my first real life actual company sponsor. I rode with Scooter Zone for a long time, and as I was on Scooter Zone, I actually got sponsored by Lucky. Now, a lot of you guys might think of this as kind of weird because a lot of you guys have never even heard of the fact that I rode for Lucky. Now, Lucky at one point was a lot different than what it is now. Lucky used to be specifically a street kind of crew. It was with James G, Blake Baylor, Jesse Aikita, and I kind of jumped on as like mainly like kind of like the only park rider at the time.
Times have changed though, right?
Times have definitely changed. As you guys know, Lucky is no longer like that. They have people like Cody Flom, John Marco Gatos, people like that, more of like the park rider scene, or it's on that team at this point. So yeah, being a part of the original Lucky team was really cool. After I rode for Lucky for a few years, I eventually skipped over to Pro Ride and rode for... Wait, is that right? I went over to riding with Pro Ride. Now, Pro Ride Scooters originally was ran by two guys. One named John, and the other guy was named Randy. Randy and I didn't really exactly have a very good falling out after a little while, so eventually I ended up quitting, and I did work there for a little while, and they did make complete scooters during the time that I actually rode with them. But after I moved on from Pro Ride, I rode... Where did I go after that? So after I had quit ProRide, I went back over to Scooter Zone because I did have to quit Scooter Zone to ride with ProRide at the time. And the reason that I quit Scooter Zone to ride with ProRide was because I really needed a job to help my mom pay some bills at the house. So that was a very cool thing to be able to ride back with the Zone. And eventually the Zone opened their store, which is over in Wildomar, which you guys see quite often nowadays. And while I was riding with them, I actually ended up riding for Maggear. Another one that a lot of you guys were probably really confused on, like, Ray, you actually rode for Maggear? And I actually did. I was one of the very first riders that was on the original Maggear USA team. So that was really cool to be able to ride with, I think at the time it was Tyler Bonner. I think Jesse Aikita was on the team again. I think he had eventually left Lucky and joined Maggear, but I can't remember if it was before or after me. Joe Armstrong was on the team with me, I believe. I could be wrong there. It was a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly, but I know it was a great time, and I had a lot of great memories with some awesome people. So I rode with Maggear for about a year, I believe, and after I'd ridden for Maggear, I went over back to just straight Scooter Zone. Now I rode like whatever scooter I wanted to ride. At the time, I rode French ID decks, I rode a couple Phoenix decks, and just things. I rode Scooter Zone decks a couple times, and then Epic was formed. Epic was another company that was a sister company of Scooter Zone, and I was able to ride with that company for a long time. I had a signature bar through them. I had signature wheels with Scooter Zone. It wasn't actually with Epic, but I had wheels with Epic after that as well. So I had a bunch of parts, had a great time hanging out with the entire Epic team as well as working with James, the owner of Epic and Scooter Zone currently. Now, while I was riding for Scooter Zone and Epic at the time, Phoenix had actually contacted James from Scooter Zone and spoken to him directly before actually speaking to me about this idea of riding for them. Now, when I was riding for Phoenix, I had a signature deck, as a lot of you guys will know, but I also rode a bunch of Epic parts with that Phoenix deck, so it was great to be able to hang out with those dudes as well. And I rode with Phoenix for a couple years, and that's where I met Tony, which is actually one of the guys that you've seen in the vlog previously to this, which works for Envy, Fasten, and the entire Gravity Group team, which is essentially Envy USA. It's like their whole distribution center now. So that's how I met Tony, and rode with them for a couple years, had a great time with them, did a lot of traveling with my boy R. Gould, but I also rode with Stan Smirnoff, Evan Larson, Dan Barrett, John Reyes, which a lot of you guys might know John as being on Envy now, and just a ton of really good dudes. Was Jesse on Phoenix with me? I know Jesse was on Phoenix. Wasn't Jesse on Phoenix at one time?
No.
Akita?
I'm not gonna say he wasn't, but
No, because Jesse was on Envy at the time. That's right. For some reason I was mixing that up because I couldn't quite recall. It's hard to remember because, like I said, I've been on a lot of teams in the past, so it's hard to remember every single one of them. But I remember that the team that I was riding with at the time was absolutely awesome, and Phoenix at the time was absolutely dominating a lot of competitions and stuff like that. We went to Worlds with Phoenix, and a lot of you guys might remember the USA color deck, which we were actually talking about earlier, which was fully airbrushed and everything. Oh, Jeremy Malott was on the team. Go ahead. He wanted to show his World Championship deck, but this is the one that Waza actually rode in the World Championships, and that was in the same year, which was 2012, I believe.
Yeah, 2012. And I thought I was rolling out to this competition with like the only one-of-a-kind deck, and that it was going to be super special. And I remember like rolling in the first gold AOSV 2?
Yeah, it's just 2, yeah.
And being like, yeah, this is hot property. And then I rolled up and said, yo, what's up, Ray? And here's Ray on this airbrushed, absolutely picturesque, like never seen before looking scooter. And I was like, oh,
Tilt it up a little bit.
yeah, you might see if we get the light going. Oh, there, you can kind of see it. It says, was there, down through the graphic, which was, you know, etched in by Dinny, the owner of Envy, as a really cool, neat little touch and something to make it special for me, because, you know, the other boys like Max and stuff that were on the team at the time all had signature products, and I didn't actually have a signature deck, so he wanted to make it special, and this was something that I've held on ever since then, so she's a beauty.
There's a little bit of story for you guys. As you guys know, after I had eventually quit Phoenix, which is when they actually sold the company, and Tom Floyd kind of did some of us dirty, and I don't really mind saying his name because that was dirty. Once that had actually happened, a lot of you guys know that I switched over to Envy, which is my current sponsor right now. But while I was on Envy originally, I was still on Scooter Zone and Epic at the time. So I was riding a lot of Epic parts while riding a couple of the Envy parts. Like I think at the time I was riding Envy grips, grip tape, headset, bearings, and just basically all of the the parts other than the deck that were on my scooter at the time. So I know I was riding Epic SCS, Epic Bar, and Epic Fork, as well as Epic Wheels, and I was riding everything else was Envy on my scooter, including, like I just said, that little list to you guys before, and that has carried on over to my current setup, which is actually a full Envy scooter because I ended up quitting Envy or Epic and Scooter Zone while I was riding for Envy because I was doing a lot of traveling for Envy and I wanted to kind of just grow a little bit more with Envy, so that's why I'm on Envy exclusively now. So there you go. That is my full range of and now I ride for the RW Club. Can't leave that out, right, boys?
Hey, if you haven't, there's a link down in the description below where you can join the club. You can cop the hats, you can cop the shirts, you can cop the goods. You know what to do. Like,
www.
comment, subscribe. www.RaymondWarner.com.
But that is my entire list of every single sponsor that I've ever had in my entire scootering career. Now, if you guys have ever been sponsored before, let me know in the comments below what company that was. It might be a scooter company, it could be a ski company, whatever company that it is, in whatever sport that you guys do. Let me know in the comments below what you're sponsored by, and I would love to read about them. But much love to you guys as always. Again, sorry that this video wasn't a very action video, because like I said, my back's really jacked up right now. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that it will be better prior to the Pro Series competition round 2 in Melbourne, because I know that we leave for Melbourne tomorrow. So again, I would appreciate a couple little prayers to just basically help heal my back a little bit quicker. And much love to you guys as always, and until next time, we're out. Later.